You know, you could ask 10 people, what is a Balkan blend? And most likely you get 26 different answers. Well, today we are going to try and answer those questions because we are smoking and reviewing a Balkan blend from Gawathogath, and that is Gawathogath's Balkan mixture. So sit back, pour yourself a drink, and welcome to the Tainted Tavern. Tainted Tavern! Come sit. In order to smoke this blend, this tin is unopened, so I'm going to crack it open in a moment, and I'm then going to jar it to store it away, as once tobacco is out of a tin, I prefer to put it in a jar. I'll also label the jar with today's date. There's only 50 grams in here, so I'll probably, once I start smoking it regular, get through this quite quickly, but I intend to jar it. I'll make tasting notes today. Then I'll probably try another bowl in about a week, and again make tasting notes, and then I'll do that on a monthly basis to see if it improves with aging. We're going to be smoking this in my Peterson Bard pipe, which is a wonderful pipe that I purchased back last summer, towards the middle of last summer. I've been in Glass Leather and Tobacco, the store up in Abergavenny. So let's talk about just what is a Balkan blend and how does it differ from, let's say, an English blend, which is its closest cousin. Stay tuned and find out. Okay, so what is a Balkan blend specifically, and how does it differ from an English blend? Well, basically a Balkan blend is an English blend with a little quirk. Where an English blend is Latakia, Virginias and Oriental tobaccos, then a Balkan blend is also Latakias, Virginias and Oriental tobaccos. So I can hear the confusion clicking there as I get this tin open. But basically the main difference is, well, to be honest, it's very little. But when you think of it like this, an English blend would always be Latakia forward. That's what makes an English blend. The Latakia is very much at the forefront of the smoke, with the Virginias providing as secondary sweeteners, and the Oriental tobaccos, the Turkish tobaccos, whatever, giving something of a spiciness that these type of tobaccos are renowned for. So that's basically an English blend or a Balkan blend. Same type of tobaccos, but it's all to do with the blend and the mixture and the quantities of each tobacco used. With a Balkan blend, the Orientals, the Turkish tobaccos, tend to be forefront. So you've still got Virginia, you've still got Latakia. It's just a different way of blending the two together. I'm going to use the Swiss Army knife to pop this tin up. My little pipe knife there is not, the blade's not quite the right shape for this. So let's get this popped open. Brand new tin. Of course, this design of tin are an age-old design, and they were called coin flip. They were designed, you'd place a little coin, and I'm having trouble opening that, so hold on. And they were designed so that you place a little coin beneath the groove here in the tin, and in theory then it'll flip open quite easily. But these days I've never got coins in my pocket, and if you try this with your bank card, you're going to snap it. So let me just get this open a minute. It's a good start to the video, but then we couldn't even pop the tin off. So as always with Gawathogath, I think that was sealed rather more tightly than usually, as I usually don't get a problem with just Swiss Army knife in there, flick and it comes off. As I say, don't use your bank card, that doesn't work. Cashless society indeed. So let's pop it open as usual with Gawathogath and Samuel Gawat these days, as they are now one company, and you can find out what happened with the split and the reforming, the coming back together in another video on my channel called The Scandal That Split the Leaf. So take a look for that. So as usual, you get the little card in there which shows the Gawathogath factory. It's grease-proof paper or wax-proof paper, sealing a tobacco. This is a ribbon cut. There's a nice moisture level in this tin, and it doesn't seem too moist. And right away I'm getting a lovely aroma. Aroma that's very familiar to me from smoking a lot of Balkan mixes in the past. And what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to use my little tray here and take a little tobacco of this out. Just pinch it up for a bowl, put it on the tray, leave it to dry a little, and I'll probably rub it out a little bit more. Now with this tobacco, as I say, I've opened the tin now, so I will be jarring it to keep, because I find it keeps better. These jars, this is a Egbert's coffee jar, obviously been washed out, the coffee's been used, but they've got fantastic seals on them, and they really do keep tobacco incredibly fresh. Then I'll simply bend it into the jar in order to keep the protective waxproof paper there. Poke it down with my pipe knife, get the rest of the tobacco out of there, and that's quite handsomely stored now for future reference. Then, as I say, I'll always add one of these sticky labels to the jar, and we've got a few of these, so I'll simply write Gawaithogger Balkan mix, and today's date, which is April the 13th, so I'll just put April 2026, and then I'll attach the sticker to the jar there, and this then will go in my cellar for storage. So yeah, that's quite suitable for storing tobacco long term rather than keeping it in the tin. I mean, if you're going to smoke it, like for instance this Squadron Leader, which I didn't bother to jar up because this is an all-day smoke for me at the moment. I'm just smoking it straight out of the tin. I've probably got several more bowls of this, and it'll be consumed within the next couple of weeks. Okay, so let's get a pipe loaded, and then we'll bring a flame to the bowl. So as I say, once you get it out, it's a nice, easy, ready rubbed tobacco. It's a lovely moisture level. I think the moisture level here is probably suitable to go straight into the pipe. It's a mixture of light and darker tobaccos. As I say, this is Virginia, Latakia and Turkish Orientals, with the emphasis being on the Orientals rather than the Latakia, which is how it differs from an English blend. The tin note is rich, fruity, like raisins and that type of aroma. I'm going to be smoking this in the Peterson bar, so I'm just going to gravity fill this pipe here in my three-step method. So just drop the tobacco in, gently tamp down the lower level, then add a bit more, then again gently tamp down the second level, a little firmer than the lower level. I use my finger for that. That's the last of the tobacco, and this I've actually brought out of the tin a perfect amount of tobacco. There's going to be very little here to pour back into the jar. I think I may even get all of this in the bowl. That comes, I suppose, from, you know, experience with pipe smoking all the time. You get used to it. So there's the pipe filled now. Just going to scoop up this little bit of tobacco here, which fell on my desk, waste not, want not, and pour this back into the tobacco jar. Okay, now let's give this now a bit of a push down with my thumb. So we've got it sitting in the bowl, nice and even. And let's take a flame to the bowl, and let's get this Balkan mixture from Gawaithogger going. That's a charring light, so allow the tobacco to spring up a little bit, which happens when you bring a flame to it. Tamp it down gently and then get it going again. Incidentally, this barred pipe, as most Peterson pipes in my collection, is a lovely smoker. Now this is something that I tend to smoke from time to time when I'm relaxing. I'm going to take time over a smoke because this pipe, I absolutely adore this pipe, and I wouldn't use this out the garden or when I'm out hiking because of risks of losing it or having a mishap. Where for those type of situations, I'll take one of my Morgan Bones or my Falcon pipes, which again are very, very good smokers. In fact, they're both exceptionally good smokers. But if I did lose one of them pipes or had a mishap up in the mountains, I do a lot of long country walks, so a mishap wouldn't be the end of the world, but I would hate to have to replace something like this. In fact, I don't think Peterson do the barred shape anymore. So right away, it's very smoky, very earthy. Now for someone who smokes a lot of English type blends, Latakia heavy blends, for instance, as I just mentioned, I've been smoking Squadron Leader lately a lot, which is an English blend. These have a lot of similarities. I'm getting that Englishy taste. But the nuance should be that the Orientals are more forward to the Latakia. And that is the case. There's a richness here. There's a very fruity quality to this tobacco. Very dark fruits. I also think the room note would be very, a lovely smoke ring there. The room note would be very pungent, very forceful, not something that a non-smoker would really appreciate, which is the similarity again with English blends. But then it is basically the same thing as an English blend, it's just the proportions of each tobacco used which differs it from an English blend, which would allow this to be classified rather as a Balkan blend. They pretty much, English and Balkans, flip sides of the same coin, or cashless society, the same credit card. So yeah, this is a very rich, deep smoke. In terms of nicotine, I would say this is medium to heavy. And in terms of flavour, it's punching really, really effectively. Pairs really well with a morning coffee. That's a very, very good smoke. But then nearly everything from tobacco houses such as Samuel Gowith and Gowith Hoggett are quality smoke. They've been in the business for a heck of a long time, so they know what they're doing. They are an historical tobacco blender. I was talking to a commenter on my last video, talking about, it was the video which was that I did, which was a response to the vaping piper, in which I was giving my own advice on pipe smoking in relation to the video that Vaping Piper did, and I mentioned that when I first started smoking a pipe, years ago, we had no internet, but we didn't have to go looking for knowledge on how to partake in the hobby and the art of pipe smoking, because there were so many pipe smokers, and I was working and my foreman was a pipe smoker, so I asked him, and someone commented and he said he's in the same boat now, and that when he started smoking there was a lot of pipe smokers we could go to and take advice from. But these days he said he knows more cocaine addicts than tobacco users, and it's just a sad reflection, isn't it, on the way that society has gone. Yeah, back to the tobacco, which is the main point of this video. Very full-bodied, strong but smooth, slow burning. Being a ribbon cut or a rubbed cut, it's very easy to pack and load the pipe. Fills the room with almost blue smoke in the light. So that's Gowith Hoggett Balkan mixture, and a very simple and very, very simple explanation of what a Balkan mixture is and how it relates to an English mixture. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you'll give me a thumbs up, maybe leave a comment below. Let's talk about Balkan mixtures in relation to English mixtures. Let's talk about all different types of styles. Let's just talk pipe smoking community bouncing. So thanks for watching, please subscribe, see you soon, and don't forget to come back to the Tainted Tavern for more fun, frolics and mayhem. Bye for now.